welcome back to the Sarcastic Geek, or welcome for the first time. Pull up a chair, grab some snacks, grab your drink, get ready to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, Season 1, Episode 11, titled The Great Divide. And truth be told, I don't remember much about this episode. The way it worked back in my day was you had to be available to watch the episode, and the episode came on at a specific time period on Nickelodeon. And again, I was active in sports, so I was playing baseball or basketball. Don't worry, I wasn't starting. I only started if someone basically died, and thank God no one ever did, because I was trash. So I missed the episodes probably entirely due to being active, so it's kind of like every so often I'd catch an episode, or I'd catch like multiples of the same episode. The Great Divide, don't really think I caught it, but if you want to catch this channel more, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, as it greatly helps us as we're trying to hit 100 subscribers by the end of February, and with your support, we can do it together. That being said, I've rambled enough. Let's get into the content you guys care about. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Season 1, Episode 11, The Great Divide. Ow! I'm okay. Let's engage.
Aren't you forgetting the tarp?
Right, got it.
Sokka, you're supposed to put the tarp on top of the tent. You know, so we don't get rained on.
Ordinarily, you'd be right, but seeing how it's the dry season, you're not. Besides, that tarp makes a pretty warm blanket.
Oh, the will they, won't they of the weather. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. You plan for the warm day, it's cold outside. You plan for the cold day, it's hot outside. You try and plan for both, you just look stupid because you're carrying too much gear and you're all kind of mixed up in your outfit. But at the same time, I gotta side with Sokka on this one. It's the dry season. If it rains, damn. How was I supposed to prepare for the unpreparable? You know, like, it's just a tough call for everybody.
Okay, I get the grub if you guys got the... Hey, where's the campfire? And what happened to the tent?
Why don't you ask Miss Know-It-All, Queen of the Twigs?
Oh yeah? Well, you're Mr. Lazy Bum, King of the Tents.
Sokka wins this round. But again, this is siblings. You have a sibling, I'm sure, and you've had many arguments that were as simple and waste of time as much as this one was. Moreover than you could probably count, I know for sure, being the middle of three. Yeah. There was a lot of stupid arguments about things that really didn't even matter, but at the time, really felt like they did.
All in a day's work for the Avatar. Come on, Momo, that's fair. Appa's got 5 stomachs.
A flying bison has 5 stomachs. But again, don't cows have like 3 stomachs? I don't know. I'm not really an animal expert. That is fair, but you still kind of feel for Momo, except for the fact Momo is probably the greediest eater we've seen on this show, and we see Sokka every episode.
There it is, guys. The Great Divide. Wow. I could just stare at it forever.
Okay, I've seen enough.
How can you not be fascinated, Sokka? This is the largest canyon in the entire world.
Then I'm sure we'll be able to see it very clearly from the air while we fly away.
Look, I live in the United States. We have the Grand Canyon. I'm sure it's breathtaking. But it's just a divide in the ground, at the end of the day. I'm sure it has deep spiritual meaning to a lot of folks. Not to this guy. This guy, not really in tune with that part of nature, as we saw with my comments about hiking that apparently ruffled a few feathers, but that's fine. At the end of the day, our differences are what makes us great. And the difference is, I'm comfortable in acknowledging it's beautiful, but please don't try and encourage me to go stare at it. It's not going to change nothing, and at the end of the day, still just a big hole in the ground that just looks fancy.
I'm saving a spot for my tribe, so don't even think of stealing it.
Where are the rest of the Ganjin? Still tidying up their campsite?
Yes, but they sent me ahead of them to hold a spot.
I didn't know the Canyon Guide took reservations.
Of course you didn't. That's the ignorance I'd expect from a messy Zhang. So unorganized and ill-prepared for a journey.
This fits in perfectly with our storyline. Katara is going to side with the prim and the proper, because that just seems fitting, and Sokka being in charge with the brutish and thievish, yeah, it did that kind of fits nail on head here. So we're gonna pick sides, we're gonna have a big old argument, and then we're gonna have to settle it all over some big misunderstanding that probably took place 100 years ago, because history is not written in stone, and most people have just hearsay that they passed along, and that's what they count as fact.
Sorry about the wait, youngsters. Who's ready to cross this here canyon?
One of them, I think.
I was here first. My party's on their way.
I can't guide people who aren't here.
The guide kind of has a point. I can't guide those who are not physically in this location. Yeah, that fully checks out. But also, are we going to wait? Are we going to think about it? We're going to consider it? It's nice we have what seems like a competent earthbender to help with the Great Divide. I'm just also wondering why our gang is not just flying over. Are we taking the walking thing from Sokka a little seriously? Because we did trust his instincts last episode, and it turns out hiking was not the best choice we could have made. So maybe this time we go the opposite of his instincts.
Sick people get priority over old people.
Maybe you Zhangs wouldn't have so many sick people if you weren't such slobs.
If you Ganjins weren't so clean, maybe you wouldn't live to be so old.
That's not really the burn you think it is. Living a long time is kind of the point. No one says, hey, I want to be here as quickly as possible and get out of here as quickly as possible. It's not really the goal. It's not really the idea. So we were going to have to give the prim and proper a point. Even though Sokka being on the other team, it's still 2-1.
You could share the Earthbender and travel together?
Absolutely not. We'd rather be taken by the Fire Nation than travel with those stinking thieves.
We wouldn't travel with you pompous fools anyway.
I am not pompous.
All right, here's the deal. You're all going down together, and I'll be here will fly your sick and elderly across. Does that seem fair?
We had to use our adult voice as a 12-year-old. Times be tough. But adults can be just as stubborn as kids and just as foolhardy. And when you have a grudge over things that happened, centuries ago, or a century ago, I should say, I guess sometimes old habits will have to die hard.
He's the Avatar, Sokka. Making peace between people is his job.
His job's gonna make us cross this whole thing on foot, isn't it?
Okay, now comes the bad news. No food allowed in the canyon. It attracts dangerous predators.
This is where you lost me, Chief. A day without food? A day without food? Not on my watch. Can't do it. Love to, but can't. Do you know how agitated I get on days without food? Me neither. I don't know. I've never done it. I won't do it. You try and tell me to take a fast, I'll tell you to take a hike. Quick and fast. So, a whole day of hiking and not eating. I'm sure everyone's going to be in just such a prim and proper and respectable member of society on this trip.
Many of you are probably wondering how canyons are formed. Experts tell us this canyon was most likely carved into the ground by earth spirits who were angry at local farmers for not offering them a proper sacrifice.
What do you mean? Why are we holding Momo like that? What are we doing here? The minute you said spirits, fasting, and hiking, add snakes or giant monsters, and I am so far out that it is ridiculous.
Gotta make sure we can't be followed. We'll be safe now.
We gotta help him! Okay, now we gotta help me!
I was being facetious. I was being facetious. I was being sarcastic. I was trying to be humorous. We have to fast. I have to hike. There's evil spirits. And now there's evil monsters. Can this day get any worse? And again, I'm not asking for literally get worse. I'm just asking, can it stop?
Your arms, they're broken.
Without my arms, I got no bending. In other words,
We're trapped in this canyon.
I had to ask. That one's on me. You know what? That one's on me, folks. Unfortunately, I mean, I didn't break his arms, but it seems indirectly I am the cause of our woes, and now we have to cross a dangerous canyon with those things and contend with someone that we absolutely hate in close proximity at all times while we are already hungry and walking. Yippee! At least there's a cliff.
See? We're going to become part of the food chain because of you.
Sure, unjustly blame the Zhangs like you always do.
Gladly.
Enough! I thought I could help you guys get along, but I guess that's not gonna happen. We should split up. Ganjin's on this side and Zhang's on that side. We'll travel in 2 separate lines.
This is the equivalent of the mom, dad, stop fighting moment that we all come to know and love. No one's going to get along, so you go that way and you go that way. I have to stand in the middle and babysit both you groups of idiots because, well, why not do double the work because you guys are twice the amount of idiots that I was expecting to deal with today. Fantastic? Let's go back to the action.
So you guys aren't gonna put up your tarps?
What for? It's the dry season.
Exactly!
Besides, we like to use the tarp as a blanket.
Finally, someone gets it.
You really think it'll rain?
No, but you can never be too careful, right?
When you see it from both sides, it kind of makes sense. One is all about comfort, and the other one's all about safety. Two things I lavishly enjoy, as do most folks. But the fact that, we want to just butt heads constantly on the most minimalistic of things means we're just going to completely fall apart and just have to be led by somebody else because we are so busy arguing with each other, we're never going to get anything done for ourselves.
The patriarch of our tribe, Jin Wei, was an earthbender warrior who was assigned an important duty, transporting our sacred orb from the Great Eastern Gate to the Great Western Gate. Taking the orb from the east to the west represents the sun's rising and setting. It was our tribe's ancient redemption ritual.
Yeah, I'm going to take things that didn't happen for 200, Alex. What is BS is the correct answer. Just going to throw this out here. There's no way you guys were so caught up on a ritual that happened 100 years ago. You guys are still beefing over it. I understand spiritualism and tribalism and being in touch with your roots, but to the point that you hate someone for something that transpired 100 years ago, when literally the rest of the world's moved on and there's been a kind of gigantic war that's made both of us refugees, and we should probably be hating the Fire Nation instead. This seems exceptionally petty, and while I do love a bit of pettiness in my life, I can't co-sign this.
Jin Wei was transporting a sacred orb, a very powerful relic used in his tribe's redemption ritual. Wei Jin tried to tend to the man's wounds, but Jin Wei insisted the orb was more important and asked him to take it back to his tribe.
See? I kind of told you. This is the cup game that we played as kids. And if you're unfamiliar, you basically, string through a cup. You tell a secret to some person in their ear via the cup, and you pass it all the way around until, it goes through everybody in the group and comes back to you. If it's the same exact thing or secret that you said, everybody wins the game. The funny thing is, it never, and I mean never, is the same thing you said originally that came all the way back to you. It's all hearsay, baby.
Wei Jin didn't steal the orb. He was returning it to their village gate and was wrongfully punished by the Ganjin.
Not punished enough, if you ask me.
Okay, I get it. Now I need your help. Let's get everyone together at the base of the canyon wall.
Trying to bring peace to two sides that seem to be eternally at a time of war just seems exhausting. I can't imagine having to do it, on top of the other responsibilities of mastering all 3 other elements in the span of less than 8 months and then defeating the most powerful, roided up Fire Lord we've seen in the last 100 years. Things are just great for Aang.
How many times do I have to say it? Harsh words won't solve problems. Action will.
Perhaps the Avatar is right.
Yes, perhaps he is.
Harsh words will never solve our problems.
Action will.
At least they're listening, I guess, would be kind of like the silver lining here. But God, is that just so thin even I can't see it. Because we went from just kind of verbally bickering to trying to take each other's heads. And I, for one, would not recommend this course of action strongly.
Is that food? Everyone smuggled food down here? Unbelievable! You guys put our lives in danger because you couldn't go without a snack for a day? You are all awful!
We're talking an awful lot of pious for someone who we both know is very hangry. It's you. You're hangry. If you had just had a meal, this would be a lot better. I get that everyone broke the rule. I guess that means we're all going to pay for the rule at some moment in time, because with the rule of Chekhov's gun, if you see it in the first act, by the final act, it has to reappear. We haven't seen one of those spider gnat things. Like, what even is it? It's horrifying with whatever it really is.
Oh no! That's a lot of canyon crawlers.
We barely survived one.
They're coming back for me. They've had a taste, and they're coming back for me.
I think this old man's going to retire after this mission. I can't imagine him continuing on and trying to regain his position in the canyon, because it's been an awful trek for him. He's lost both his arms, apparently his sanity, and I guess retirement would be just a fitting culmination of our day.
Everybody, watch me do what I do!
Okay. My only complaint, which is rather major, about your plan, Aang, not all of us can just airbend flip onto the back of a canyon crawler. You're the only airbender left that we know of. So, how am I supposed to do that? I get the bag over the head is the main point you're trying to drive home, but how am I supposed to, just Eureka! Right on the back of one,
Everyone, get off!
We made it!
So food was the actual problem. I would have gotten us all killed. I'm going to be completely honest. I will fess up. I would have brought food. Tell me to go a day without? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. But again, it seems like we were able to find a semi-peaceful solution, but we still have our major overarching story of solving this whole orb dilemma. Let's see how he handles this.
I was there 100 years ago on the day you're talking about. There seems to be a lot of confusion about what happened. First of all, Jin Wei and Wei Jin weren't enemies. They were brothers. Twins, in fact. And they were 8. And most importantly, they were just playing a game. The sacred orb from the legend? That was the ball. And the eastern and western gates were the goalposts. Jinwei had the ball and was running toward the goal when he fell and fumbled it. Wei Jin didn't steal the ball. He picked it up and started running it back toward the other goal. But he stepped out of bounds. So the official put him in the penalty box. Not for 20 long years, but for 2 short minutes.
Where did we get the panda from? Where did that part in the story come in? I feel like we're embellishing here. I feel like there's a load of crock being sold, and if I'm the only one that's buying it, sure, I guess I'll get your, what is it? Something real estate venture, time investment share, something like that. It seems like a load of crock. This seems like a pyramid scheme to me.
Don't get me wrong, Wei Jin was kind of a slob, and Jinwei was a little stuffy. That much is true. But they respected each other's differences enough to share the same playing field.
I suppose it's time we forget the past.
And look to the future.
So we made peace, but how much of that peace was built upon a lie is my real question.
Let us travel to the Earth Kingdom capital as one tribe.
I'm going too. I'm sick of this place.
That's a fair assessment of the situation. I don't know why you would keep doing this job if you knew there were canyon crawlers and you had to deal with, stuffy or ghastly people who are really stuck up all the time. Can't imagine it pays well enough to keep doing this.
Or you could call it lying.
What?
I made the whole thing up.
You did not. That is so wrong.
Tara, why are you looking at him like that? What was that face? Like, just, what was that all about? But yeah, that was 100% lying. Ain't no way anyone was buying that as the truth. And that was Avatar: The Last Airbender, episode 11, titled The Great Divide. Fantastic episode. I don't have much memory of it, but I'm happy I do now, and I'm happy you do as well. Aang, learning that lying can sometimes be the most peaceful solution rather than, tribal elimination. And, while it's fun on Survivor, it's not fun in practicality. So, that's good. And with that, I give you guys 3 key words of encouragement. Like and subscribe to enjoy more of the Sarcastic Geek. We'll be back tomorrow with a short, and the next day, another new episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'll see you guys in the next one.